Hi, this is Terry from Fabric Junction, and today I'm going to show you how to work with a t-shirt so that you can put it in a quilt. One of the things that I do here in the store is I make t-shirt quilts. I get commissioned to make them all the time, and I've made all kinds of layouts. This is probably my most popular layout that I do, which I would teach it to you, but it's one of those things that I'm not quite sure how to explain it just in a simple video, but I can explain how to work with the t-shirts. I can give you several different ideas on what you could do with those t-shirts. This one happens to belong to my grandson and represents his elementary school years. He was a very active young man, and he is now in middle school and is still a very active young man. So with that in mind, let's move to the t-shirt. When I get a t-shirt, first thing I do is cut it up, and on it I just chop off the sleeves. So there goes the sleeve, another sleeve. Keep it simple. I'm in front of the TV at night and just making two piles. One pile will be the shirts that'll be cut into squares, and the other pile is the t-shirt sections I am going to throw away. Now I know some people save some of them, use them for rags. Go for it. I don't do that anymore. Not that I don't save some for rags, but because of the number of t-shirt quilts that I work on, I would have a room full of t-shirt rags. There she is. She is cut apart. Next, I decide what size of squares I'm going to make. And the most common is a 12. A lot of people make 14s. That's okay too. But a 12 will cover this one nicely. It'll keep the essence of the what the t-shirt reads. 14 maybe your t-shirts 14s will be better, maybe 13s, maybe 15s, 16s. You go through your t-shirts and decide what is the most common size that works for you. Now I have a 12 half-inch square, so I cut my shirt. When I first started, I would cut them a little bigger than I needed, and then I discovered that really wasn't absolutely necessary. What do we got? The neck. Get rid of some of that neck part. There we go. So, I have my shirt cut. The fabric that I use, I shouldn't even say fabric, the interfacing, because it is an interfacing. It is a woven, fusible interfacing. And you can see, hopefully, the way the lights are shining on it, how shiny it is. That is the glue side. So this is just like an interfacing that you would put in a collar or a sleeve if you want a really soft feel to it. Not the real stiff collar, but if you want a real soft one. It is, like I said, it is an interfacing. I have used all kinds of interfacing when I've done the t-shirt quilts. This turns out to be my favorite. I know there's other people like others, and that's okay. You just find what you like. But like I said, give the woven, fusible interfacing a try. It keeps the shirts really pliable, doesn't make them stiff. And like I said, stiff to me is what you want in your cuff, not necessarily in your quilt. So, when I'm ready, my t-shirts are always pressed from the back. I don't ever press from the front because I don't know what type of stuff they used, and heat sometimes makes it melty and bubbly and nasty, and I don't want my iron to get all nasty. So now I'm going to, as you can see, kind of press, get any of the little ripples out. Add my 10-inch square. Here is part of the reason that I didn't worry about making it super big because, as you can see, my interfacing is a 12.5-inch square. I think I called it a 10, I'm sorry. 12.5-inch square. And once I press these out, the t-shirt tends to stretch. So then I can square them up, where I know my interfacing is not stretching. It's not going anywhere. It's staying the same size as it was before. So my interfacing, actually on this piece I must have grabbed one that was a little bit smaller, but whatever. Oh, I know exactly what I did. I cut 12. I cut 12. Ah, it's okay. Not the end of the world. But either way, you want to go back and double check, and if there's any distortions anywhere, you want to trim those little spots off, and that's when I trim these off. This will give me enough to hang on to. This will give me enough to keep my t-shirt in place. I'm nice up here, and it'll make it much nicer when we quilt. But that was my mistake, that my piece, I probably grabbed one that was for something a little bit smaller, but you get the idea, the whole intent. If your piece is a little small, not the end of the world. Just when you do the seam, because I'll know when I go to sew this seam, I'll just have to be a little more careful that I don't start distorting it. But the interfacing will help me from doing that. So my piece is ready. I'll make a huge stack, and as you can see, it is nice. It stays real soft. And I'm ready to put it into the quilt. Now the ones that I do, I have to graft out, and I know all my pieces that I'm working with, but I have a couple of other ideas for you. As you are working with, and you've got all the same size, let's say they're all 12.5s or all 15.5s, doesn't make any difference. Here is a couple real simple layouts that I did. You have 9 t-shirts. Maybe you want to make an 8-pointed star. You could do your sashing with your cornerstones, an 8-pointed star. That would give it a great different look. Maybe you don't want to do 8 points. Maybe you only want to do 4. So here's another great star that just has 4 points. In between, very simple. You just add your pieces. It makes another great quilt. You decide what you want to do with your borders. You can carry that theme into the border, or you can just add a simple border, or none at all. Depends on what you're looking for. Or how about a 9 patch? This is another great one to add to a quilt. So you have all your t-shirts put together. You create a 9 patch to put them together. That is wonderful too. You decide. You make it your own. Whatever you decide, whether it's a 9 patch, a 4-star, an 8-star, or just sewing them to each other. You can sew all your 12s to each other and put a fancy border on the outside. It's all up to you. The important part is figure out the size you're going to cut. Cut the right size of your fusible interfacing, and like I said, I use a woven fusible interfacing. Put that on there, makes it stable. It'll make it easier for you to quilt, for your quilter to quilt, or even makes it nice if you decide to tie your quilt. Whatever you decide to do. But those are the questions that I get asked most about a t-shirt quilt. How do I cut them? What am I going to put on the back? And what if I want to do something a little bit different than just sashing and cornerstones? So with that, collect up your son, your grandson, your brothers, your dads, your whoever's t-shirts that you have, and create a wonderful gift for them. Or maybe it's your own t-shirts you want to work with that they will enjoy after they have gotten tired of wearing those shirts. So thank you here for watching us here at Fabric Junction. And do check out our website, junctionfabric.com, or even our blog at fabricjunctionjewels.blogspot.com. Enjoy your day and have fun making a t-shirt quilt for someone that you want to make a memory for.